Hello and welcome to ChuggieBets. This is our college football episode. Welcome. In just a minute, we'll give you some picks. But before we do that, let's drink a beer. Cheers.
Cheers.
Who's ready to chug some beers and make some bad gambling picks? Welcome to ChuggieBets.
Good stuff.
Cold.
All right. So we had another fantastic week. We are just unstoppable.
Speak for yourself, buddy.
Danny was a couple of games under 500, which I feel really bad about because I actually graded a couple of the games wrong. And so when I texted it out this morning, I said that he was above 500. It turns out he wasn't. So that's my bad, bud. Sorry to get your hopes up, but
I made money this week. My pregame picks, I paid the vig pretty much, but live betting, I crushed it again.
that's good. That's good. Then we had Matt at 8-7. So making enough to cover the vig there. And then Al continuing his incredible streak of winning weeks and winning chuggy bets, 6-3-1 with a 1 chuggy bet. So congratulations, Al. Fantastic
thank
week
you.
for you, bud.
Can't hold a candle to you, though, bud.
Yeah, I continue to roll along this season. And there's only 2 more weeks left, so college it. I feel pretty good. I went 10-5. 5 games over 500. I actually graded some of mine wrong as well. Al had to point out to me that I was not 11-4. Unfortunately, I was 10-5, but I will take that. Not a bad week. So
Yeah, it was actually a down week for you, Andy. You're supposed to only have 2 losses every week, so tough go seeing you lose 5, even though you won 10.
That's usually more in the NFL. Though. In the NFL, it's two losses every week.
Oh, okay.
I vary it up in college a little bit.
More games to pick, so there's more opportunity
exactly.
to lose.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think I had 13 losses this week compared to your 2 that you averaged. So.
Only 12. Only 12.
Oh, I forgot. One of them was a push, right?
You did have a push, yes. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what we learned this week. Danny, we'll give you the consolation prize. What'd you learn this week, bud?
I learned that every once in a while, the Vegas calls down to the coaches or the referees or the players or something and just says, guys, no more points. No more points. Because I was watching that North Carolina Wake Forest game, and I think we were at like 65 points or something in the halfway through the third quarter. And there was just like right after that. I mean, these teams were like going point for point the whole game. There was like no nothing ended in a punt. It was just all scoring. And then all of a sudden, they have each team has like a 7-minute drive that goes all the way down to the goal line, and they go for it on 4th down, and nothing happens, and they don't get in. And then so it's 2 turnovers on down, and then it's like nothing happens after that. It's a couple of like a punt, an interception. There's like a long drive and a field goal, and then it's like four plays, turnover on downs, and then we take a knee and it's over. It's like, what the fuck? I need 10 points. I need 10 points. You couldn't give me 10 points?
Yeah.
That's the downside of taking the over at 77.5 or whatever it was.
I think that was someone with 76.5. I think I did 11 touchdowns, and I mean the game got to 70.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where in your mind you've already chalked it up as a W in the third quarter, and then you can't believe it when you check it later, right? Like,
yeah, it was 67 points halfway through the third quarter, and I was like, all right, well, I can watch the UCF game or something, so whatever the other one was on, and then I have to come back and watch the replay, and I was like, oh shit, what happened?
Yeah,
it's a bummer. That's rough. I feel for you, bud.
Oh.
Al, what about you? What'd you learn this week?
Yeah, so I learned it's going to be a lot of fun figuring out who the 4th college football playoff team is going to be. Georgia's holding it down at 1, and I don't think they're going anywhere. Then you've got Ohio State and Michigan at 2 and 3, who play each other. So the winner of that matchup is staying put. And then you've got TCU in 4th, and honestly, pending. I feel like we've talked about this on the podcast too, is that I don't know if any of us believe TCU is going to run the table and make the playoff. Like someone's going to bite them in the ass, right? But let's even assume that
I thought it was good.
they
I thought it was good.
run
Go
it
ahead.
and they're in. Then you basically got a 1-loss Michigan or Ohio State, a 1-loss Tennessee, a 1-loss Oregon, who may not stay there. You've got a 2-loss LSU.
Oregon has 2 losses now.
Oh, yeah.
Because they lost this week. So I think Oregon's done.
Oregon's out, yeah. I think it's Ohio State and Michigan. I think the Big Ten gets 2 in this year.
Yeah, I mean, you could have this thing be 10 teams wide and not have much drop off between like 4 and 10. So it's going to be fun seeing how it shakes out. I don't even know what to make of it. It's got to be Tennessee, right?
Ohio State, Michigan. I mean, Georgia's the best team in the country still. I mean, Tennessee's great. Yeah, that's a great option for a 1-loss team. But Ohio State and Michigan are only going to have lost to each other. Those they could easily be the second and third.
Yeah,
best
I'd
team.
love to see a Georgia-Tennessee rematch.
There's some other 1-loss teams you didn't mention either. Not that I think that they'll get in, but USC only has 1 loss. Clemson only has 1 loss. North Carolina only has 1 loss.
Clemson's not getting in as a 1-loss team from the ACC.
No, yeah, I didn't say I don't think they'll get in, but it's interesting, right? Because you gotta consider them if they're sitting there with 1 loss. They have to at least be in the conversation.
Yeah, it also depends on how they do blowing out UNC in the
how does a 2-loss Alabama make the playoff? Like, is there a path? Do you think?
There shouldn't be.
I think there is. They won't, because they'd have the only way 2-loss Alabama makes the playoff is if one of those losses isn't an SEC loss, and then they win the SEC. So it has to be the SEC champion 2-loss Alabama team. So like if they lose, so Alabama always plays. They're one of the SEC teams that plays 1 good non-conference game, and then a bunch of trash non-conference. A lot of the SEC plays all trash non-conference games. Like this week, you're going to see a lot of that. But Alabama actually, one of their first games of the year, it's their first or second game of the year. They always play a really good non-conference game, and if they lose that one, then they can still have 1 SEC loss and still win the SEC. That's how they get into 2 losses.
Because I mean, I'm looking at the teams ahead of Alabama, and I think a lot of them, because USC, LSU, and then you basically got your 1-loss Michigan or Ohio State, a TCU, and Tennessee. So I don't know. I think it's possible they get it. I think it's unlikely.
Well, is LSU, are they leading their side? Is LSU leading their side?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so LSU is going to lose again.
Yeah.
When they play Georgia.
If they don't lose again, they end up in the SEC championship game against Georgia, right? Where
that's what I mean. They're going to lose again to Georgia.
Right. Yeah.
So LSU has at least 1 more loss on their schedule. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, there's a chance that they get that 2-loss Alabama can find their way in. That's kind of nuts, even without making the SEC championship game.
With only like 2 or 3 games left for these teams too. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Andy, what did you learn?
So mine's not specific to any one particular game, but we already mentioned I went 10-5, right? My 5 losses, of those 5, one of them was the stupid, I don't know who came up with this just asinine idea, random game generator. That was one of my 5 losses. All right. I'm 1-4 or 1-5 on the season in those stupid games you guys make me pick. So if you take that one away, which that one shouldn't count, right? Now I'm down to 4 losses. Of those 4, 2 of them were weeknight games where I specifically said on this pod, I don't show a big advantage here, but I want to bet weeknight games. So I'm going to bet these. If I wasn't so dumb and I hadn't bet those, I could have been 10-2 this week because I lost all of my bets on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, right? It was bad. So what I learned this week is I can't force games because I want action, right? It's a lesson I've learned before. It's a lesson I will
I was
going
to say, you only learned that this week.
Yeah, and I'll have to learn it again, right? Like,
what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's what gambling is. You're like, I need a play.
Gambling is literally, I want action, so I'm going to play. I don't know what you're trying to be here.
That's what I say. The worst thing about gambling is that there's a side that wins and a side that loses, and all you got to do is pick the right one. So it's so easy to just bet every game.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if
So,
you're trying to make
with
money,
that
go
said-
invest in the S&P 500 or some shit. I'm here for fun.
Yeah.
See, to me, fun is making money, and so then I can tell everybody else that I'm better than them. That's what's
Yes.
fun.
So
I
this
ain't got
is
that
why
kind
you
of
created
time.
the
I ain't got
podcast,
that kind
Danny,
of
huh?
time.
The only reason that I asked you guys to do a podcast. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Weren't
I
paying
ain't got that
attention
kind of time to
enough
put
to
together
have
all your
it.
spreadsheets, Andy. Unless I can automate some sort of college football system, I'm going to be going by the seat of my pants every week.
Which is honestly amazing that you do as well as you do. I put in so much time to this, and Danny just shows up and it's like, that feels like an over.
A coin.
Yeah.
A coin. I'm as good as a coin. But
So with that
I'm
said,
telling you, live betting on games I'm actually watching, you can kind of see what's going on and figure it out. I'm decent at live betting.
we've got to figure out a way to get your live bets out to the people. At Twitter.
You can follow me on Action if I
TikTok.
put them up. I don't always put them on Action though, because I'd rather just. It's hard to get them up and they don't count.
And Danny's going to start a Twitch account, a bunch of 13-year-olds giving out live betting advice.
Done.
Go get Daddy's credit card. Stock up your account, okay? Then bet it all on this Tulane over. Let's
If
go.
anybody has any crypto left, that's actually the best way to get the money.
Danny's going to be out there doing the gritty.
I don't know how to do a gritty. I'll look like Gesicki.
All right. Let's get to the actual picks. We have Maction again this week, so Tuesday night games, Wednesday night games. I will not be forcing any picks in those games, so you won't hear from me till we hit this Saturday slate. But Al and Danny, you both have a picks Tuesday night. Al, why don't you kick us off? What do you got in Ohio at Ball State?
Yeah, Danny and I are in lockstep on this one. I'm taking Ball State +4 at home in the MAC. Got to take those home dogs in the MAC. That's the move. My buddy, a buddy of mine, Billy, put me on this. He's, every time there's so much beating up on each other in the MAC that there's a lot of value in taking a home underdog.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the team records are. So Ball State +4 is the move, even though Ohio, I think they've won like 5 straight and covered 5 straight, but hopefully not this time.
Yeah, Ohio's pretty good. I don't know. Basically, that's really great analysis from Al. I said Ball State was bad last week, and I was wrong. They're 5-3 now, 6-3. So they're not bad, and I'm going to bet on them as a home dog. So also, every time I'm wrong and I recognize that they said something wrong on the podcast, I go back and I bet the other way next time. So it's just something I'm doing.
So I was almost on this. It was a question mark when it was 3.5 when I looked at it earlier. Now that it's 4, actually, I'm not gonna lock it up for the pod because I don't want to, be a follower and just jump on your picks. But I for myself personally, I just bet it while you guys were talking. So let's go Ball State.
Nice. Yeah, go Ball.
All right. Ball State. What's their mascot? It's a bird of some sort.
Are they Cardinals?
I wanted to
they're
say Cardinals.
The red,
right.
or like the Redbirds or something. Red Hawks. Oh, that's
No,
Miami,
that's
Ohio.
Miami of Ohio. Hang on, this is gonna drive me
Cardinals. Let's
crazy.
say the Cardinals.
They are the Cardinals.
Ball State
Excellent.
Cardinals.
Well done, boys.
Yeah. We did it.
All right, and then because we're good at this and we know what we're doing, we're not forcing anything. We actually don't have a pick for Wednesday night.
Oh, I'll make one right now. All right, what's the line on?
I was just gonna say, let's all give one out. It doesn't have to be a.
I got it. No, I got it right now. I'm going to take Western Michigan. What's the line on Western Michigan, Central Michigan? I'm going to lay the points. Western's good, Central's not, right?
Western.
No, it's the
Western
other way
is
around.
Getting 11.5.
All right, I'll take the. Oh wait, Western doesn't have their quarterbacks at plays for the Patriots now. Never mind.
No, that's Western Kentucky. This is Western Michigan.
It's Western.
Okay, sorry. So Western Michigan is the one that's good this year.
Danny,
why are they getting 11.5?
No,
yeah, I'm taking them. Give me the points.
Awful.
Western Michigan's awful.
Really, but Central Michigan is bad at covering. So I think you're good. Leave it. Let it ride.
All right, I'm taking Western
Note
Michigan.
it in here. Do you want to make it an official bet, or you just want to know in here so we have something to root for on Wednesday?
No, both. I'm going to actually bet it, and it's going to be an official pick. Yeah.
That was just one book, though. Let me check the other book, see if I can get you a better number.
We'll see. I don't care.
No, that's the best number out there.
Cool.
There are 11s and 10.5.
That's probably what I would.
We don't have a Friday night bet either, but I'm going to do the San Diego State game if you can give me a number on that, because UCF Tulsa is not something I'm going to care about no matter what happens.
Yep. I'll get you number.
And
I'll get you number on that. But while I do that, Al, why don't you take us to Thursday night? Because it looks like you've got a bet there.
Between Wednesday and Friday, there's a Thursday night game, right? SMU Tulane. I am taking SMU plus 3.5. I think Tulane won't have faced an offense as potent as SMU's, and they're going to struggle to keep pace, I think. Tulane plays best when they're not like in a shootout going back to back or back and forth with a high-powered offense like SMU. And I think SMU has every there's every possibility they turn this thing into a shootout. I also think Tulane, there's potential for Tulane to be looking ahead past SMU at their matchup with Cincinnati next week. So all of that combined says give me SMU plus 3.5. And then I also wouldn't mind if you are in agreement on this play. Maybe looking at the over here, over 65. I'm not going to officially make it a play, but if you like SMU here, you should like the over as well, because I don't think there's a way SMU wins this one in a low-scoring game.
I officially am going against you on the over. I think Tulane's defense is going to dictate the way this game's played at home. I think that SMU does have one of the best offenses in the country for sure. I've talked about Rhett Lashley a lot. I wish he was our coach at Miami. I just think that Tulane's defense is really good. They showed a lot against the UCF game. They also did show a little bit in that game that they could stick with a really high-powered offense as well, even when UCF got out to a big lead. That was one of my live bets I won, plus 16.5 in the first half. That covered easily. I think Tulane's defense is going to dictate this game at home, and I think 65 is too much. I think this game, both teams, one of the teams is going to stay in the 20s, the other's in the low 30s. I think that it's going to be the total will stay right around 60, so I think under 65 will hit.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way you slow down a Rhett Lashley offense is you force them to go 3 and out. You keep them from picking up that first down. If they get that first down, they're rolling. It's already too late. If you can keep that from happening, then all of a sudden they're just punting the ball back to you, and their defense gets beat up and tired and worn out. So, I mean, that's the way.
Just like any other offense, you stop the run, you hit the quarterback, and Tulane can do that. So.
Yeah. So, that's it. And then you said Friday you're going to lay 14 with San Diego State.
Yeah, go back to fading the four corners, man. New Mexico sucks.
You know, it's so crazy that San Diego State. I laid the points with San Jose State last week, and late night I checked the score on that one, and it's like San Diego State's blowing them out, and I'm like, what the fuck? Where does San Diego State get off scoring like 40 points? Much less a San Jose State defense like giving up that many. So I was confused. I don't know what happened, but apparently San Diego State has a high-powered offense, so go for it now.
We'll see how it goes.
All right, so that takes us into Saturday. There is an 11 a.m. game, Navy at UCF. We don't have an official pick for it. So we'll roll right into noon with Al has our first pick, UConn at Army. What do you got for us, Al?
Yeah, I just want to watch UConn try to defend the option. Doesn't that sound fun? It's going to be. I think this is going to get ugly. I'm laying the 9.5 with Army.
I mean, you're right. I don't think they're going to be able to stop the fullback dive, though. So part of the option of what gets it fun is when they actually get to the second part of the option. Army might just run the fullback dive on UConn the whole time for 6 yards and keep this game super boring. Never even get to the quarterback and pitch man.
Yeah, they won't even be an option offense. They'll just be a dive offense.
It might not even get to the fun part of the option of the beer.
I like this pick a lot, Al. I thought about it. I might bet it, but
Is that line still there? Because
that.
when I was looking, it was in the 10s, but
Yeah, I think I grabbed it before it crossed 10. So it's probably, I don't know if 9.5s are available anymore, but
Yeah, I'm seeing 10 and a halves. Do you guys know UConn already has 6 wins? They're 6-5.
Yeah.
On
yeah,
the
they're
year.
going bowling.
Unbelievable,
Mhm.
considering where they
they're
were
like
last
sort
year.
of good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Who's coaching them?
Is it Jim Mora?
Is it? I was
Um,
gonna
his
say
son.
that's the guy I'm picturing.
Jim
I
Mora
couldn't think of his
Jr.
name. Jim Moore
Yeah.
Jr.
It's not playoffs, Jim Moore. It's his son.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jim L. Mora.
It's funny
Yep.
that his middle name starts with an L.
It's not a good sign for football.
Yeah.
Andy, why are you fading your team, bud?
Because I've watched my team the last 2 weeks. We've
Yeah.
looked bad. The Michigan State loss was bad. The Purdue loss was bad. We just don't look like the same team.
Watching your
that we did.
corners get beat on double moves against Purdue was tough. It
Yeah.
was tough.
Yeah. I don't want to be that guy. I do think there were a couple of calls that went against
there were.
us. But I'm just gonna go on my Illinois rant real quick. I'll make it fast.
Do it.
If you had told
Love
me
it.
before the
Go for
season that this was going to be Illinois' record, 7-3, I would have been thrilled. I would have been so ecstatic. Like, we're going bowling easily, right? We've got a whole extra win that we don't even need. Plus, we still have 2 games left, and one of those is against Northwestern. So, like, I think we can get to 8-4. I would have been thrilled. But the order that the wins came in was so painful, right? Like, to be 7-1 and like have all these aspirations of like, now it's Michigan State, now it's Purdue, like, oh, we're gonna be 9-1. Like, it was just so painful. I just wish the games had happened in a different order, and I'd be thrilled right now. Instead, I'm like a little bit like hurt and disappointed, But yeah, that's why I'm laying points with Michigan. I think they roll us.
Miami had a 10-3 season not that long ago, Andy, where we started the season 10-0 and we're number 2 in the country, and then we lost to Pitt, Clemson, and Wisconsin in hilarious fashion. All 3. Pitt's quarterback that Kenny, whatever the guy, he's other Pitt, yeah, Kenny Pickett, was like 100 years ago when he was still playing for Pitt as a freshman. Yeah, last year, but also 100 years ago.
This was like 4 years ago.
Yeah,
was that
was
Malik
such a tough game.
Malik Rozier season?
Yeah, Malik Rozier threw like ridiculous interceptions, probably 2 Kenny Pickett. It was tough. It was a tough game, man. It was, and then
the whole order
we went up
in
for
which the
we went
wins
up
and
for the
losses
Clemson game.
happened is a real thing.
Just we should not have gone to that Clemson game.
Yeah, Miami is awful in bowl games that do not matter. Like, I think they're like, I think Miami's like 0-20 in their last like 20 bowl games that don't matter.
We don't need to turn this into a Miami discussion. I just wanted to tell Andy I understand when the wins come in the wrong order. If Illinois totally did that to him this year, so
yeah. Well, the last time we were ranked was 10 years ago. We started the season 6-0, and then we finished the season 6-6. So it is not new to me either. But it just
I looked at the over in this one, Andy, for a while, and I was like, this one, like, it almost seems like a number that I feel like Michigan might come close to hitting on their own.
I was going to say that I think Michigan might have to cover it on their own because Illinois' offense has not looked good against defenses that are not as good as Michigan. So,
you guys scored okay against Purdue.
Yeah,
I mean that over hit pretty easily, and I was wrong about that last week.
Yeah, Matt was on that.
I know. I told Matt that was a dumb pick on the pod, and I didn't take it, but I told him it was dumb.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it moving before I have to mute myself for talking about Illinois too much like I did you guys with Miami last week. Danny, you have the next pick.
I just don't think TCU's I don't think TCU's ending the season undefeated. I thought last week was their best chance to lose at home or in Austin against Texas. So this week is now their best chance to lose in whatever city Baylor's in. Is it Baylor?
Waco.
Baylor's in Waco.
Waco. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, in Waco, I think they're going to lose to Baylor. So I'm taking Baylor +3. I'm probably going to bet the money line also. I'll probably wait till TCU gets out to a 7-0 lead and then live bet it for the +8 that I'll get then, and I'll have like 7 bets on this game and then lose them all when TCU.
I'll tell you what, Danny. I love the logic. I think there's a much better opportunity to fade TCU, and I think it's coming next week
Texas
when
Tech.
they host Iowa State.
Oh, Iowa State.
And all they have to do is beat Iowa State, and then they're looking ahead to that Big 12 championship game. Eyes on the prize, and then they drop one to the Cyclones. I think that's a better spot. That's a better letdown spot for TCU, but I like where your head's at.
Yeah,
it's possible.
And either one of them would be very, very funny, honestly. So
yeah. Matt's
all right.
Probably.
I'm going to bet against them until they lose. I'm betting against them until they lose.
TCU.
At some point, I'm gonna have to be right.
Are you going to double your bet each time? Was that the?
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm not gonna. What's the name of that system?
Martingale.
I'm not gonna martingale it. I've gotten screwed on that playing blackjack online before. It doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah, Matt.
Because eventually you run out of money or hit a limit.
Yeah, Matt has gotten rich this year betting on TCU, so I feel like he's probably pulling his hair out if he's listening to this. But yeah, go for it. Baylor +3.
Yeah, I'm also on
the next one too.
Yeah, I'm on the next one. SEC game here. Vanderbilt got their SEC win last week. I don't know if they'll beat Florida, but I'd like them to. And mostly I just want to root for them to beat Florida, but I don't want to take this spicy-ass money line, so I'm going to take the 14.5. It was 2 touchdowns and a hook, and I know Richardson's playing really well, and everybody thinks he's going to be like a number 1 quarterback pick, whatever. But
everyone. For those listening, I did quote symbols there. Everyone, quote unquote, everyone, meaning only Gator fans.
Anyway,
yeah,
I actually Vanderbilt might win again. They might.
I actually love this pick, Danny. I love it. Vandy +14.5 at home against the Florida team that probably is looking to just coast through this one. I think everyone's. I don't think anyone's circling Vanderbilt on the schedule. So I think they're all ready to just go in there with their virtual bye week and get the W in Vandy, 14.5.
Yep. Andy probably has a really good analysis pick next instead of just my winging it.
Yeah. It takes us through the noon window and into an odd 2:00 slate we've got this week. A lot of 2:00 kickoffs. Andy, Washington State at Arizona. What do you have for that one?
Yeah, short and sweet. Arizona is much improved from last year, but their defense is still atrocious, like terrible, like bottom 15 in the country. So Washington State's going to be able to put up a lot of points, and I don't think Arizona is able to keep up. They have a good offense, but Washington State has a good defense too. Washington State just puts up too many points for Arizona to keep up here.
Well, I think Arizona, they just got their signature win of the year, knocking off UCLA last week. So I don't think they're going to be quite as feisty as they may have been otherwise. So
yeah,
I don't hate it.
And I think that gets us a discount on this number here too, right? Like people are like, oh, Arizona's good, they beat UCLA, and it should have been closer to a touchdown. But people think Arizona's for real, and then you get a discount.
Yeah.
I like this pick because Washington State has a great flag.
Has great what? Oh, flag. Yeah.
It's true.
Game day, baby. What's it? Every college game day ever, they've had that flag in the background waving.
Yeah, they send it around to different fraternities. I forget which one. But
if there's a book on that, I would read it. I bet you it'd be a fun read.
If there's not, you should write it.
It's not that interesting, but it's just a fraternity that mails it around to different chapters of their fraternity.
No, because I think there's been times where they almost didn't make it, and probably fun stories about getting it there. So
they just mail it to the guys. It's not.
If not, we could make one up. The guy's on his little moped scooter, like It's going as fast as he can go down the highway with the flag streaming behind him. Get the game day on time.
Well, there's probably some like 50-year-old super nerd who like hates his life, who's in charge of getting that flag to each of the game day locations every week, and he's probably like fucking typing away and overnighting this thing to like
You guys clearly weren't
Boone,
great. It's just a chair
Carolina.
position. It's
And
a chair
there's some
position
like
in the
there's some
fraternity.
like 20-year-old who's like blacked out, who's spawning, I'll pick it up tomorrow. And then
It's
it's
literally
like
a chair
30,
position in the fraternity. He just reaches out
just
to the
wakes
other
up and
fraternities. And,
somebody sent a pledge to you people, pick up this flag. We got to get to game day with it. So
yeah,
I don't know.
it's not that
I could see
interesting.
it. I could see it.
Greek,
I don't know.
there's a
All right.
boring side to Greek life, bud. There's a boring side to Greek life, and it's getting that flag to the place.
Danny,
Old Dominion
listen.
at App State.
Hey, let me just say this. This is a podcast. We're trying to excite our listeners, talk about fun things, and you're just like, no, it's boring. I guarantee you, it's boring. It's bad, stupid, bad, boring, dumb. You, Danny. I bet you it's exciting. Indiana Jones, fucking in a giant stone ball chasing him. All right.
Baby, this
yes.
is the first. This is the first documentary that Chuggy is going to officially produce, and it's gonna be our version of 30 for 30. All right.
We're just gonna talk to a 21-year-old dude who like sends an email and be like, I sent a group email.
Have you tried to get a 21-year-old to do anything on time?
That's what I'm saying. It's got to be awful.
All right.
But it's definitely somebody's job at Washington State for sure. Yes. Old Dominion App State. This is not gonna be an official pick for me because I'm making the number up here because it's not out yet. But I really like the App State team total over in this one. I think based on the spread and the total, the implied team total for App State is around 34. I could see them hanging 40 on Old Dominion. So I really like that team total over. I think that's probably my favorite play out of the numbers in this one. So I'm going to keep an eye out for that and I'm going to look for it. Should be around that number. And I think App State can easily hit it. But again, I'm not going to lock that one in since I'm making it up.
I think what was this, 21 points, 21 and a half points, something like that? Anyway, I think App State's going to blow them out. I just didn't bet it because it was a lot. It was like 3 touchdowns and a hook or something like that, and I thought it was too much. It was either 17 and a half or 21 and a half, and I was like, yeah, go on the other side of that, and I would have bet it. But
yeah, it's at a number where you feel like I don't love laying the points with App State, but I think they can score points. So
it's down to 15 and a half some places, Danny.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna lay it. All right, I'm gonna lay the 15 and a half. I did it.
All right, Al. I think you've got our first 330 pick.
Yeah, so again, this is one I just want to talk about. I'm not going to actually play this one. I don't think I'm going to be a coward here. But it's a whole 330 window. We're pretty much silent on here, guys. But the play I'd consider the most is actually taking the points with Miami at Clemson. Miami plus 19. I'm not going to do it because Miami's let me down so many times this year, but it just seems like a lot of points. Like I don't see why Clemson would feel the need to blow Miami out. You maybe like preseason, Clemson looked at this game and they're like, "Oh, we got to show up for this one." But 10 weeks in, and Miami's like maybe got 5 wins. This is not a game Clemson is getting up for. So I think they are happy to cruise into this one and win like 31-14 or something. And that's a Miami cover where it's like never in doubt, but they don't have to play hard. So that's kind of the thought I have on that one.
Clemson's going to blow us out, but I would not make that bet.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not making that bet, but
don't get confident because of the second half. Don't get confident because of the second half of Georgia Tech. Remember that first half was still close.
I looked at this one as well, and I'm not going to play it, but it was close for some of the same reasons Al said. Clemson just doesn't have the offensive firepower to blow somebody out. So 19 points seems like too many to me as well. But I couldn't quite get there, so I'm going to stay
Whose
away.
offense do you
Yeah.
think is better, Andy? Middle Tennessee or Clemson?
I knew it was coming. Knew it was coming.
Probably Clemson's, but it depends. Is DJ playing? All right, let's keep rolling. The
You know what?
5:30
Actually,
window.
Danny, chug a beer. 1 for being a downer about my Washington State flag talk, and 2 for mentioning Middle Tennessee State for like the 7th podcast in a row.
I'm not going to stop. They beat us. They deserve it.
I know. I don't want to.
All right. While Danny's checking that beer, Al, why don't you take us to Georgia Tech at North Carolina at 5:30?
Yeah, not to talk about Miami again, but Miami took care of business against Georgia Tech's team last week, and UNC's laying about the same number. So UNC minus 20.5. I just wanted to get this one before it crossed 21. I think this one should be an easy UNC route. I don't think there's any. This one might be over by halftime.
If Miami can beat you by 3 touchdowns, UNC can beat you by 4.
Yeah.
I'm on it too. Yeah, minus 20.5.
Danny and Al holding hands in lockstep, baby.
I didn't even look at your bets before I made these decisions either. It wasn't like tailing Andy. These were just thinking the same way.
Speaking of holding hands and being in lockstep, we have a partial cyclone for our next pick. As you've probably noticed by now, Matt's not here. But apart from that,
is this a water spout?
Perfect. Yeah. Yep. We got a water spout of Marshall laying the 3.5 at Georgia Southern. Dan, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I saw that you guys were both on it, and I tailed Andy.
Yeah, my nuts just.
No, Marshall's good. Also, Marshall was good. I in Georgia Southern's. We faded them a couple times this year, so I think Marshall's pretty good. I thought the number should have been higher than 3.5, and you guys were both on it. This one I did see that you guys were both on it before I did it. Literally said, we're going to turn this into a cyclone. So.
Yeah, I think Jordan
Go ahead, Al.
should get their respect. I think they played well this year, but I do think this is a spot where Marshall's just clearly the better team, and 3.5 is seems like silly low total or spread. That's it.
Yeah, I think Marshall's defense is the best unit on the field here. I don't think Georgia Southern's going to be able to score much, so I don't think Marshall's going to have to score much to cover this number. So
yeah. Sweet.
All right, Al,
lock it in, baby. Yeah. So, the 7 o'clock kickoff, Boise State at Wyoming. I'm laying 13.5. I think Boise has lost outright both times I've bet on them this year, but they're 7-3.
Oregon State. They only have 2 losses, I think. Oregon State and what?
No, they have. They have 3. They lost to Oregon State when I bet on Boise. They lost to UTEP when I bet on Boise, and then they lost to BYU. I think 2 weeks ago. But they've been rolling. They've been hanging up points, and they've looked a lot better. So I'm laying it before it crosses 14. And
yeah, I was on that Oregon State bet early in the year too, and I thought that Boise was bad because they lost to Oregon State, and it turned out Oregon State was pretty good. And Boise's also pretty good later in the year. So
I think I said after that game too, I was like, I think if they played that game again today, I would still lay the points with Boise in that one. It was I think they turned it over 5 times and gave up 3 deep touchdown passes to Oregon State. So it seems like they've gotten the kinks worked out. So I'm laying it with Boise.
Yeah, I like the pick. I didn't get on it with you because I didn't want to tell you. I saw that you made it before. But I'll probably bet it.
Yeah. All right, so sticking with the 7 o'clock window, we got Texas Tech, Iowa State. I'm taking the under. It's under 48.5. By my numbers, both of these defenses are top 20 defenses, and the offenses are fine. I've got one slightly above average, one slightly below average. Going against top 20 defenses, I don't see a lot of scoring here. So under 48.5.
I love that. Do it, Andy.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Feel free to jump on board. The more the merrier.
I mean, yeah, sure. Why not? I'll follow you on that. It feels dirty and wrong to just like steal your good picks, but that one, yeah. These are two teams that, while they can score points, they don't. They're not like known for doing that, and they have good defenses. So yeah, hell yeah, under 48.5. That seems easy. Seems like it should be like 43.
Love it. All right, Danny, what do you got for us in Oklahoma State at Oklahoma?
The Sooner State
showdown. Yeah, Oklahoma's been playing better. They're at home, but I'm going with Oklahoma State getting more than a touchdown. This is a game that either team could win, and one of them's getting more than a touchdown, so I'm going with that.
Yeah, I feel like Brent Venables has really gotten his shit together since his seat started heating up a little bit. Oklahoma looks like a different team, I would say, over the past month than they did the first 2 months or a month.
I mean, they lost their last 2 games and they gave up 38 points to Baylor and 23 to West Virginia, but they crushed Iowa State and they beat Kentucky, but they're giving up a lot of points. But their defensive line look better.
Maybe I'm full
shit. They got their asses kicked by Texas, if you remember too. So
yeah. But I don't think that was unexpected.
49-0 was unexpected.
Yeah. The score was unexpected. The losing was not. I'm surprised you guys don't have plays in this one. I'm guarantee if Matt were on this one today, he would have a play in this game.
Ole Miss, Arkansas.
And I bet you he'd be fading me here.
Okay.
I am. So I believe USC UCLA, which is an 8:00 kickoff. Mark your calendars, set an alarm, make sure you're watching the TV for this one. Which I am not a Pac-12 guy. Do not watch much of them at all, and I'm not usually. I kind of like many of the Pac-12 teams. It's just like no doubt it's going to be a good one. I think it opened USC -5.5. And I think it has come down all the way to, when I got it, USC -1.5. I don't know if it's moved back at all or not yet, but I expect it probably will. I think USC has the 2 best players on the field in Caleb Williams and Jordan Addison. I think UCLA probably has the next 2 best in DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and Zach Charbonnet, but UCLA looked out of sorts. I don't know if they were looking ahead to this game when they dropped their one to Arizona, but they didn't look very, I don't know, well coached, or like they had their shit together against Arizona. USC, I don't know. I think this one is every bit a coin flip game, and it being a UCLA home game technically doesn't mean anything to me when you got these 2 LA schools playing. So when the spread got that close, I was like, it's basically a pick 'em. I'll take USC.
It's also not a student run fan base, so it doesn't really matter. Like you said, in a city like LA, it's not a student run fan base, so it doesn't matter who the home team is. They'll just buy the tickets and go.
Yeah. Do you guys have any feelings? Any thoughts, game?
The line was too close and the game's too close. That's why I didn't take it. I think that USC UCLA is going to be a close game, and there's no favorite, and I don't know who's going to win. So if one of the teams was favored by more than a field goal, I probably would have gone in.
Yeah.
What's the total? Something like 66?
That's a good question.
I feel like every total I looked at 66.
75.
75. Okay, yeah, that's a lot.
66, I definitely would have gone over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
I didn't really have a lean, so I didn't bet it.
Same. Al, I think you get the next two.
Yeah, this was another game I was on the fence about. I want to talk to you guys and get your thoughts about it because I think I'm actually gonna go ahead and pull the trigger on it. Syracuse at Wake Forest. Syracuse getting 10.5 seems like a silly number. I don't know how Wake Forest and the way they played recently, combined with the strength of Syracuse's team being their defense, leads to a spread this big. I think it's a combination of Wake Forest's offense showing out against a UNC team that has a very bad defense, and Syracuse getting blown out by a good FSU team. Both of those things happened last week, and I think this line might be a little inflated. But I think I'm gonna lock it in as an actual play. Syracuse plus 10.5. What do you guys think?
Syracuse has only scored 12 points in their last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
combined.
That doesn't sound
good. They're averaging 6 points a game in their last 2 weeks. Just they're not.
So
they're not
so you're saying,
on an offensive
you're saying
streak.
they're due.
It could be. It could be.
They've been saving all those
lost,
points for this week.
They've lost their last 4 games. They're tough games though. It's FSU, Pitt, Notre Dame, and Clemson, so it's not an easy road.
Yeah, my numbers made the fair value of this one 11, so I didn't see enough value in it one way or the other.
Okay, so maybe I was right to question it, but fuck it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take the points and play Syracuse.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. Hartman's been average, I guess.
I mean, he looked good last week, but I think a lot of people have looked good against that UNC defense.
Everybody looks good against UNC's defense. That's how they designed their team.
So. And then my last play of the week, again, laying points. I'm laying points in, let's see, like more than half of my games here, and a lot of them are double digits. So this one, LSU minus 14.5 against UAB at home. I don't know why this spread is as close as it is. It could be 6 points higher. I'd probably still take LSU. And LSU has Texas A&M next week, so it's not even a look-ahead spot. That's a little Jimbo dig, but
yeah.
I'm gonna lay it with LSU.
I'm still just not on the LSU train.
Yeah,
I know that they're like 5th in the country or something like that, but come on. They beat Arkansas 13-10. It was one of the worst games ever. Oh God, come on. Just because they beat Bama, get out of here.
So I'm kind of hoping LSU actually looks really good in their next 2 games, so that I can fade the hell out of them in the SEC championship game against Georgia. The better LSU looks, the smaller that number will be. I don't think I'm going to get a small number. I think it's going to be double digits regardless. But if LSU can look really good the next 2 weeks, maybe we get a slightly smaller number and I can fade them because there's no way LSU is hanging with Georgia. So
UAB is not great though. So yeah, they're not even great for a lower conference team. So 14.5 is probably a good number to lay. Probably should have been more like 20.5. That line stinks, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it's stinky.
All right.
Let me see stinky line.
I mean, I got a 10:30 play. I honestly, this is probably my last season to watch Hainer, I think. And I haven't watched him enough, so I'm going to lay these 22, and I'm going to hope that he beats him by 28. Nevada's not that good, so
I think Nevada got blown out by like 40 last week too. So
yeah,
that worked.
Nevada last week.
By Boise.
Boise 41-3.
Yeah, a snowstorm.
They've lost their last 5 games, and they're not scoring a lot of points. And they're giving up a lot of points to all the teams that have a decent offense. I mean, they gave up 31 to Hawaii. So how How good can Nevada's defense be if they gave up 31 to Hawaii? I think Fresno
Yeah,
with Hader could put up some points against them.
Yeah, we just had a guest speaker come join us on the podcast here.
Me?
Is that Austin, Texas, Matthew? Matt, how's it going, bud?
I know I echo bad in here, but it's good to see y'all.
No, you sound
Yeah.
great.
What did you go with at the speakeasy? What was your drink of choice? Austin was better in the 90s?
No, I didn't. I think I went with it feels like a fist, something like that, something the equivalent of that. I don't remember exactly what it was.
I probably still have the picture here.
Was it a warm shot of 151 and a room temp natty ice?
And a fist in the butt? No, it wasn't. It was Manhattan.
Fist me, please. Tastes like Fist me, please. It's called a Martinez. It's Ransom Old Tom and Still Austin gin. So it's a Manhattan, but made with gin.
Ooh. It was great. It was delightful.
Okay.
Yeah, Carpano Antica with Luxardo Maraschino liqueur and orange bitters.
Ooh, that sounds delightful.
Yeah. Then I drank like 9 Miller High Life ponies, like the 7-ounce bottles. But we're getting away from ourselves. I'd love to hear about Hawaii.
Oh, Matto, I actually need your opinion on one thing. How do you feel about Marshall minus 3.5 versus Georgia Southern?
Marshall minus 3.5 versus Georgia Southern.
No pressure, but there's a cyclone on the line here.
I will join the cyclone, whatever it is.
All right, it's a cyclone.
Get in.
We just
that has
upgraded.
one pick in for the week. All right, so that brings us to our last pick. Andy has some excellent college football analysis that you guys should all probably listen to because it's going to be a work.
Well, basically, it's the last 2 games of the slate, and I have not taken a dog yet. I have 4 picks in. I laid the favorite with 3 of them. I took an under. So I need to take a dog, and my options are Utah +3 or Hawaii. I want to say it was like +11. I actually won a bet on Hawaii last week, and I feel like I danced with the devil. I escaped, and I'm done with that.
Honestly, it should have paid 2-1.
So I am taking Utah +3 here against Oregon. I don't love it. I do show a little bit of value here. A pissed off Oregon at home scares me a little bit. But these teams both have excellent offenses, and I think Utah has a pretty significantly better defense. So that's what I'm going with. And it was between this and Hawaii, and I think this is the better value.
Yeah. I think I like Oregon in this spot, but I definitely like taking the points with Utah better than I like taking the points with Hawaii. That's for sure.
I think Spencer Rattler's been better at home, though. That's why I'm kind of scared of this Utah +3.
But. Matt, I wanted since you were kind enough to jump in here. One, I felt like you definitely would have had an opinion in the USC UCLA game. So I laid the 1.5 with USC, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Give you a moment to expound on that one.
If I had to lay aside, I would lay the points with USC. UCLA is coming off that bad loss to Deloria. In Arizona. It wasn't a fantastic game for them, and considering Andy and I both took the ChuggieBets there and ate the shit on it on a straight up loss, it was a bummer. But I also don't think I think there's levels, right? USC is clearly a level above their offense, and I don't think UCLA's defense is that great. I would think USC is the better team by more than 1.5 points. That would be my lead.
Do you have any?
Yeah, we're also saying there's no home field advantage. Was the other point Alan and I were making in LA,
right? Like Rose Bowl versus Coliseum. It's very similar. Yeah. Can I give you Can I tell you what I learned last week before?
Absolutely, yes.
I learned the state of Florida kicks ass in college football. Florida State covered easily. University of Florida covered easily. University of Miami covered easily. UCF crushed it against a team that was a risky game, but they covered everything there. But the USF doesn't count. And then FIU and FAU played each other. So one of them had to cover, right? But the state of Florida.
That game was not close.
No, I know it wasn't. But the state of Florida kicked ass last week, and I thought that was awesome. Good on us, state of Florida. We did it, baby. We're back.
Football's better when the state of Florida is winning.
And we were all in it except USF, unfortunately, and FIU. But you played FIU playing FAU.
Yeah, I mean, and plus those schools don't even really count. Like, what did Rollins do? Did Rollins cover? Does Rollins have a football team?
Hey, Big Mad USF. It's al.at@gmail.com.
Matt, did you have any games you wanted to do you have any bets you were dying to give us, or any games you wanted to talk on before we wrap this up?
I would probably take the points, and this is just a personal play. I'd take the points with Louisiana against Florida State, with the idea that Florida State's going to be looking ahead. They'll probably rest people. Florida State.
It's a big line.
It is a big line, and I want to go on the front end. Florida's damn wagon in the last 3 weeks. I think they beat everyone 144-24. It's been awesome.
Shit. Yeah.
But
you played a bunch of cupcakes.
Oh, we did.
I have a great idea.
Is good. Syracuse is good.
Yeah, Syracuse is good.
See what I did there?
You went down the same road I did. That was great.
Here's my great idea. Since Matt's just joining in for the fun here, why don't Danny, Andy, and I each pick a random game that none of us have picked yet, throw the line at Matt, and make Matt pick on the spot.
Let's go. Pick a game we haven't picked yet,
right.
and give me a decent line.
Yeah. Let's see.
How about a real interesting one? Georgia State, James Madison.
Okay, what's the line?
Come on.
All right, I'm kidding.
No, fuck it.
No, I don't want to give you that one.
It's not even on our sheet.
I know. I was literally joking. It was just dumb. All right, somebody else go first.
All right, let me go with we got to go with a 3:30 window game since nobody has a play.
Bring it.
Wait, Danny.
All right, we're going Georgia, Kentucky, Matto. We're going Georgia, Kentucky. That's a good game.
The spread?
I have it here at 22.5.
22.5.
Kentucky's laying 22.5 at home versus Georgia.
Kentucky. Take the points. Take the 22.5.
Ooh.
You think Georgia's not going to beat them by 22.5?
Nope, I don't.
Nobody's going to laugh at my joke that Kentucky was laying points.
I laughed.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm going to take the 22.
Actually, I've got a perfect game for you, Matt.
All right.
It's Iowa, Minnesota.
Oh, let's do it.
We've got Minnesota as 3-point favorites and a total of 32.5 in that game.
32.5.
That's why I didn't get the under, by the way. That's the only reason I'm not on that under. It was just too low.
32.5 is very few points. Iowa is a 3.5 point.
2.5.
2.5 or 3, looks like.
You could lay 2.5 or you could take 3.
Let me think on that one. Andy, what do you got? I may take the over.
Boston College at Notre Dame. Boston College is getting 3 touchdowns. And I almost took the points.
Take the points.
Nice.
Zay Flowers is the best player in that game, the wide receiver for Boston College. He's friggin' phenomenal. And the fact
excellent correction. We'll bleep that out.
Sorry. He's friggin' phenomenal. And he is it's a travesty he has to play on such a bad offense, but that offense has been really good lately. I hate saying that for Boston College. Look, they'll probably get routed, but the smart play says take the 21 points with Boston College.
In the words of the PMT guys, fuck shit.
I was trying to be decent. I try my hardest, but I've been drinking.
All right.
Oh, okay. Sorry to Al's. What was the bet, Al? I'll give you a quick one.
Iowa, Minnesota. You can Take Iowa plus
32.
3, Minnesota minus 2.5, or over under 32.5.
You can't believe I'm gonna say let's go over 32. It's too
Over
few.
32.5. Okay.
It's gonna be like a 10-7. I know. I honestly, I'm gonna bet a shot on that game for next week. Come back to Chuggy Bets next week. If I don't get 32.5 points, which I probably won't, I will take an embarrassing, some sort of shenanigans or mask or something.
In Iowa's last 5 games, they've gone over 32.5, 3 of the 5 games.
Yeah, it's too few points. And Minnesota's also got an okay offense sometimes.
In Minnesota's last 5 games, they've gone over 32.5, all but one. But it was 33. It was 33 in 2 of them.
Living dangerously.
Oh yeah, so Matt, we won't hold these games against you record-wise, but I netted them on the sheet so we can check on your status, because I love just firing off a pick and then seeing just flying right through your pants on it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's the only way to live, Al. It's the only way to live.
That's the way. That's the only way Danny bets.
Hopefully, I'm slapping a bunch of dubs against you boys next week.
Hell yes.
So I shouldn't even mention this because I fucking hate it. But I do have an official random game generator pick here.
What is
Let's
it?
go.
Yeah.
It is Cincinnati at Temple. Cincinnati is laying 17 with a total of 51.5.
I'm laying 17. That's easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm laying 17 too.
I should have just bet that. That might be my chuggy bet.
Al's laying it. Matt, you have a feeling on that one?
Let me see. So Cincinnati at Temple.
Yeah. 51.5 was the total, Andy said. That's down from opening line of 54. So it looks like people are betting the under on that one.
Getting steamed.
Oh boy. What was the spread? 21, you said?
17.
This is interesting podcasting.
I'm going to lay the points with Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Boys, we've got another cyclone.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
My numbers say that a fair value here would be Cincinnati minus 23. So
that sounds good to me.
Good value here based on my numbers. Now remember, I am 1-5 on the season in the stupid ass random game channel.
Did you literally just mush all of us?
Yeah, I think I probably did.
No.
Our cyclone bets have been pretty hot, right? Our cyclone bets have been pretty hot.
Oh,
I
yeah,
feel
the
like
cyclone bets
I feel like the only time I've lost
3 of them. There were 3-0.
I feel like the only time I've lost a random generator game was like 2 weeks ago when Andy and I had to pick opposite sides. And that was the only one he won. So he and I are like the yin and yang of the random generator.
That's funny.
All right, you guys ready to do chuggy bets?
Yeah.
All right, I know mine. I this is my favorite pick of the week. I miss Hainer and I want to watch him, so I'm going Fresno minus 22.
Nice. I know mine as well. Texas Tech, Iowa State under 48.5 is mine.
Really good one.
Also, he's been playing. To be clear, he's been playing. I just haven't stayed up late enough to watch him because I've gotten drunk.
Danny, let's be real. There's a 0% chance we're going to stay up late enough to watch him this week too.
Well, we're away. We're away, and I'm going to try and get a nap in the middle of the day and then wake up to watch him.
Okay.
There's no Premier League at 7 a.m. or either this week.
My man, World Cup's coming up. We're gonna have to talk World Cup next week.
Can we promise this? Can we do a podcast on the World Cup next week? I will lead this conversation if we need to.
Yeah, because it won't have started yet, right? I think
if we record next Monday when we normally would, it will have started.
It will have started,
but
Sunday. But we can talk about World Cup bets. I got some. I'm telling you,
we can do Sunday. We can do Sunday
or even Saturday.
Heaters. I got some heaters for you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll miss a Qatar game, but I got some real winners for you guys. If you want to make
take Brazil to win it all. Bruno is playing center back. They're so good.
Yeah, they're good. They're real good.
My chuggy bet, by the way, just to put a bell on this, is Army minus 9.5 against UConn.
That's a good one. I like that bet.
I'm going to be fun here. I'm going to take the Iowa Minnesota over.
I love overs where I need 11 touchdowns. Matt has an over where he needs 4.5.
Matt's going to be like begging for a field goal to hit that over on Saturday, and he's not going to get it.
I'm going to root for pick sixes so hard.
How many safeties do you need, Matt? How many safeties?
16 and a quarter, I think.
Yeah.
If Iowa unders taste like a gas station hot dog, what does an Iowa over taste like?
Oh, it tastes like a foot. Like it's just an actual foot, but like a cadavered foot. Like you give me a foot that was like dissected from the body, I'd have to eat it. It's like a car accident scene, and the foot is separated, but I eat it because it's delicious.
Speaking of gas station hot dogs, I showed you my my ball pit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I got for Guinevere's birthday this weekend. What I did not show you is I bought a hot dog roller for the party, so I did. I have a hot dog roller. So if you're down here and you want hot dogs, I can make hot dogs.
Hot dogs are always ready.
Are you gonna bring that to every tailgate?
Yeah,
It's gonna be a tailgating thing instead of grilling. You're just gonna bring out a roller.
The real question is it going to be set up on your counter in your kitchen 24/7 with hot dogs available just anytime you walk by?
We've talked about it. Missy and I have considered. We've considered doing it.
The problem is that have a hot dog on it.
They don't. They shockingly, the hot dogs dry out pretty fast.
Is that shocking?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe it's on the quality of the hot dog. Maybe you need some Iowa hot dogs.
I'll use some breath. Anyway.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the #1 gas station hot dog podcast in the world. Please like the video, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on your podcast app. Come check out our TikTok. We'll probably have lots of World Cup stuff there as well as the pod we plan to do. Just like us everywhere.
We're so good at this.
But not me.
Yeah, but not
Don't tell me.
Don't tell
me. Don't tell me.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Tell
Good night,
Matt.
Joey.
Not me.
Good night, Joey.
Night,
Good night, Joey.